Hello, legendary listeners, and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. I'm Amy, and with me is Kat. Morgan is out this week, which we are so bummed about because this week is my slightly belated spooky season spooky pick. And it is
Not.
delayed. It's delayed because Guillermo Del Toro released his. Actually, he didn't release it. Netflix released Frankenstein. Too late for us to do it in October,
And we
so
weren't
we're
going to
gonna
the
have to cover
theaters
it
for
now.
this one. So we missed
No.
because it was funny because it was in theaters right before spooky season, and then spooky season happened, and then it went on to Netflix. So we had that weird in between time.
Yeah. So this is my spooky pick. Anybody who knows me at all should immediately be like, yes, clearly this is Amy's spooky pick. Anyone who knows Kat at all should know this is probably not her cup of tea.
Yes.
So let's find out. Was that the case? Did this movie happen to just solidify that maybe you secretly love gothic horror period films?
I'll say in the way we're going to do this episode is I'm going to talk with Amy to say why she liked it, because I can respect this film. I think it's obviously gorgeous. I think there's interesting themes, but I don't like gothic horror, and I don't love period pieces set in like that time period, old English type movies. It's just never been my thing. It's not probably ever going to be my thing.
Yeah.
But I think I could respect when it's done well or not done well. And obviously it was done well here. I think my only complaint is how long it was and how long it kind of got to, especially the first half. Like I think the first like 50
Victor's
minutes
was long.
it was really long
yes.
to get through, because like it takes a while to get to the monster aspect, but it was beautiful. It was, you know, everything that Del Toro's known for doing. And if you like gothic horror, you're gonna love Del Toro's movies. And I've seen a good chunk of his movies. We saw Crimson Peak for the last spooky season because of Amy. I've seen Shape of Water out of my own accord just because of like Oscar stuff. I like it, you know, watching what's coming out for the Oscars. So the way we're gonna do this episode, like I said, is going to be more talking to Amy and like dissecting why you enjoyed it, and just like, yeah, if you don't like gothic horror, you skip this one. And I will say, if Amy didn't want to do this, I probably wouldn't have watched this movie. But I am glad I got to watch it for Amy so we could do this episode, especially because Morgan was out, because I feel like Morgan really would have liked it as well. But let's jump into it. Have you seen other Frankenstein movies? Let me start with that, because I have not. I know from afar from my business partner's uncle is like really into old school monster movies, so I appreciate it from afar, but I've never seen it.
I haven't either, and part of that is because I'm only now recognizing as I get older this sort of weird little prejudice that I had against quote horror films. And it was just because I was never exposed to them, I think, as a kid. The more that we've done these spooky seasons and the more that I have become aware of my own interest in gothic horror, that I'm recognizing that I missed opportunities in the past. But for whatever reason, in my head, other Frankenstein adaptations, I don't know if this is correct. I don't know. Other Frankenstein visual adaptations come off as silly and quirky, and could they ever work to me? And that's because in the book there's this almost theatrical sense of gosh, what's the phrase? Oh my gosh, it's in my brain. The sense of disbelief. The sense of disbelief. What's the word I'm looking for, Kat? You know the phrase. No.
Give me another word.
It's gonna happen when you go to theater and you understand that there's no way Peter Pan is flying on stage. Okay. Suspension of disbelief.
There you go. There we go. I was like, I feel like you said it. Yeah.
That was difficult. Suspension of disbelief. So in the book, you're so firmly engrossed, and mind you, I have not read the book since college, but I remember bits and pieces. I looked up bits and pieces, but I will put a disclaimer out right now that if I get it wrong, I have not read the book in 13, 14 years. it's told from enough of Victor Frankenstein's point of view that you as the author, or you as the reader, understand that the author at the time is telling a story she can't possibly actually bring to life. Like, there's no way at the time she, Mary Shelley, could ever have even had a concept of how to bring something to life like this, like bring a creature to life. So when you're reading the book, there's that suspension of disbelief. You're like, okay, these things can't really happen. But all the other adaptations that I've seen on film, even just little bits and pieces, seemed so ridiculous because still at the time, they were like, how could we actually make this happen? This film genuinely, I think, as sciency as possible, like as realistically as he could, he sat down with scientists and was like, yeah, if we are going to try to reanimate a body, what would it take? And I think I personally really enjoyed that. I am not a, you know, electrical scientist, but the way that they were exploring the use of the lymphatic system and the use of anatomy and physiology and the very nature of, you know, spasmodic responses to electrical stimulations within the body, which is all of what your body is. Your body is just a series of electrical communications. That is how your heart beats. It's an electrical conduction system. So it is fascinating that he clearly went through all the work to find a way to make this as realistic as possible with all of its challenges. But no, I'd never seen any of the other ones because they always felt ridiculous. This didn't feel ridiculous, weirdly enough, because it's gothic horror. But it didn't feel ridiculous. It felt like it could very well have been probable. I was like, yeah, we could do this. We could totally do this. We just need a lightning storm and a tower and apparently a lot of money. We could do this.
Yeah, and I read this somewhere that Del Toro's been wanting to do this movie since he was like 6. So I think the idea of this being his passion project really helps, which is interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is true, that Frankenstein is public domain, so he could kind of do this whenever he
I'm actually
wanted.
not
And
sure.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go check. Frankenstein public domain. Yeah, so Frankenstein is public domain, so he could have. So let's see, Mary Shelley's original novel Frankenstein
Yeah.
and the character Frankenstein's monsters, as described in the book, are public domain. However, specific adaptations of the monsters, like the movie versions of him, the Universal Studios version, is not public domain. But the novel, if you utilize that, like anything, like Wizard of Oz, the novel is public domain, but the
You just,
Hollywood version is
yeah.
not, which is
Yeah.
why you can't use the ruby red slippers, but you can use the silver slippers because it's in the book. So point being, it's been public domain for a long time, so it's interesting. This is when I want to do it, right? He kind of could have done this anytime he wanted to.
This is from an interview that he had with NPR. He said that when he was a child in Mexico, he saw the 1931 movie, and he describes the iconic scene where the monster first lurches into the doorway as nothing short of, quote, an epiphany. He says, quote, I saw the resurrection of the flesh, the immaculate conception, ecstasy, stigmata. Everything made sense. I understood my faith or my dogmas better through Frankenstein than through Sunday Mass. He said it was then at age 7 that he decided the creature of Frankenstein would be his personal avatar and his personal messiah. Which makes so much sense. It truly does, because you think about everything he's made: Pan's Labyrinth, Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley, even Crimson Peak. Like, he is so this creature world, all of these things that he creates in his head that are just visions and dreams and ambition. That is Frankenstein.
And he's obsessed with the other, right? Because that's the idea of Frankenstein, is feeling like, or the monster, is feeling like
he likes
you don't
the creature.
belong. Yeah, and like if you do see, I don't know if you saw Shape of Water. That's so much Shape of Water. Is this? I think you'd like it. I'll say it's not my type of movie because, again, it's not the type of films I usually like. But I saw it, and it is very much this romantic movie about this woman who wants to understand this fish creature who's being experimented on. And yeah, that's like it's a different angle, obviously, because this is not Almost, it's the opposite of romantic, and it's more of an abusive relationship between these two people. But yeah, that's he just likes the other. He likes the monster, and that's probably why he's enjoyed Frankenstein for as long as he has.
You know, what's interesting to me is when I think about what I like about, those sort of relationships, these characters, about people who are things that are so dramatically different. I'm not innately drawn to that. I'm not innately drawn to the fact that I look and go, wow, she sees something in him. Wow, he sees something in her. I'm not specifically usually drawn to that sort of romantic relationship, but I see the romantic. I see the romance in it, and it does speak a lot. And I think that is the point of a film like this. That is to make you, as a person who does not innately see that as love or as romance, for you to sit there and go, oh, I could understand this romance now better because of the story they built, which is something that diverges from the book.
Mm-hmm.
So in the book, Elizabeth still dies on her wedding night, but she dies in this very iconic scene of violence where the creature breaks into her honeymoon suite and strangles her. Because, spoiler alert, in the book, she's not engaged to William. She's engaged to Victor Frankenstein. So, as an act of revenge against his creator, the creature destroys Elizabeth, which I genuinely don't remember if this happens before or after the cabin. So, I don't understand if the creature knew or registers love, because that's a whole idea that a creature would register love could be a way to destroy the creator, to
Which
destroy the man.
happens here. We see him care for other people. You get to see it with the blind man. You get to see, obviously, with Elizabeth's character
Yeah.
too. So,
It's interesting because I it would be very hard to understand the I'm glad that they took the route they did with Elizabeth. I think that that is a key factor in what makes this film so exceptional and what distinguishes Guillermo del Toro's fingerprint on it. We're going to get to all his classic fingerprints. He's got all kinds of things that are just like, I'm like, oh, symbols, oh, themes, oh, colors. Clearly, I'm wearing
because
red intentionally.
because he makes movies like novels, right? Like
Like
that's why
theater.
yeah, theater even better.
It's
I was thinking
both.
more. Yeah, that's honestly very interesting. I never thought about it that way. The classicness of how he does his
Oh,
films and why people really like it. I will go to Elizabeth for a second because
yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
yeah, go
side
ahead.
I can talk about. Is that I'm a huge Mia Goth fan. So Mia Goth is the person
Oh,
who is the
interesting.
actress. So I, as a horror fan, you don't love Mia Goth. Interesting. I'll say she's very good at expressing, in my opinion. And we get to so her the movie that she's known for, the movie franchises she's known for is Maxine, X, and Pearl. They're all like together. X is a porn movie where it's like it is it's a movie of like that dissects like the porn industry, and it ends up like also trying to dissect like sex in horror films. So it ends up being like the 1970s slasher type movie. And then Pearl is in the 1920s, and she's like trying to be a theater actor. She's trying to like go and be a movie star. And then they made the third one, Maxine, which I hated, but it was like in the 80s, and it's also kind of like about the porn industry. And she's also in Infinity Pool. Like she's very like outrageous. Which she doesn't do very much here, which is actually interesting. I don't know if she's as outrageous.
This is interesting
Mm-hmm.
because if I close my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I visualize a different performance of Elizabeth than when she's actually speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was I respect the choice and I know that it was intentional. That's the thing about any Guillermo del Toro film. This is where I start to really love the craft of filmmaking, the craft of acting and creation, because he is one of those directors and writers where absolutely every single thing is intentional. I watching interviews between him and all of his different main cast members is fascinating because they talk about how much collaboration there was on set, how much they trusted each other, how much they gave each other the freedom and the grace to try things. And I was like, God, these are the directors that like. This is the kind of director that I would kill to work with. But it's interesting for me because I saw Mia Goth's character and really quickly I was like, is she a bad actor? Like what why is
I
she not doing
really,
anything with her face?
that's so
And then
interesting because if you,
as
go
it
on.
progressed, I registered that this is her character, that this is a woman in this time period who has thoughts, who has brain, who can say the things, but literally is forced and trapped to be in that one space. Like the whole butterfly symbolism and analogy. Oh, perfect. I loved it. The idea of that like caged animal that they go, oh, let's trap it together. And very quickly you have this trapped creature. It's just so much symbolism. I love it. But that's not anywhere in the book. So he creates this backstory that as the film progresses, I started appreciating her performance more. And this is where you get into the theater bit. This is what I mean about how you say that he does his stuff like novels, and I agree. I think you're right. But there's
Just because
also
of
a
the
factor
symbolism too.
because of the symbolism, become of the allegories and the way that you can break things. For instance, I'm just gonna say it so I don't forget it. Did you notice at her wedding she was wearing a red necklace?
I recognize a lot of red that she wore. I don't think I recognize
Lot
the
of
red.
red.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Victor had his red gloves,
Mm.
red necklace at her wedding night. So that was I would assume, an allusion to the way she dies in the book, which is strangulation on her wedding night. So she has the red necklace, is the only red she wears on her wedding night in the film. Anyway, those kind of things, I'm like, but when you look at something like this that has been done before, Elizabeth's been played before, Victor's been played before, the creature's been played before, Benedict Cumberbatch famously played a really spectacular theatrical version of the creature. It's like when you see a Shakespeare show. There's nothing new written in Shakespeare. The script is the same. The interpretation is where the art comes in. And a lot of times when I go to see Shakespeare and I know the script, I know Lady Macbeth, I know Mark Antony, I know Brutus, I know Beatrice and Benedict. Like I know these characters inside and out, either because I've played them, I've read them, I appreciate them, whatever. You see someone else do it and you start going, no, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that choice. And the mark of good theater is if by the end you go, that was it. That was such a great choice. I loved that choice. I think that was wonderful. You sold it. It was beautiful. And so for me, the fact that Mia Goth's performance had sold me by the end, I think was the point of the story. He progressed her character exceptionally well.
Yeah, and I will show this on the thing because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna play a scene. I'm gonna show you like little sides of Pearl in particular. She plays with her facial expressions a lot, so that's why it was interesting to say, oh, I didn't see a lot because that she's famously like for her facial expressions. So I'm gonna screen share because again, I'm not gonna show it because I don't want us to
Yeah.
get any.
So, those of you who are just listening in, if you'd like
Yes.
to watch on YouTube, you can find us at The Legendary Ladies on YouTube. You can also join our Patreon and you could watch an episode like this live and comment.
Or search
Legendary Lady.
Pearl, the creepiest end credits. But I'm gonna. So this is the end credit where
Oh!
she. Yeah,
Oh, wait,
you
hold
know
on.
this.
Oh, no,
She's a
yes,
meme.
you're going to love this.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is why you're going to love this. Because this right here, this is what my director for Macbeth, he showed me this. I'm not kidding. He showed me this in Lady Macbeth. When I'm doing Lady Macbeth, she has this scene where she's summoning the spirits. And this is where he started. This is not where we ended. But he's like, this is the sort of desperation that I want you to have when you're summoning the spirits. And I end up looking in a mirror. So we decided that this was going to be a whole mirror and she's talking to herself the whole time. That is hilarious because that I have seen that before in the context of theater. That's
And
really
again, because that's why I was surprised when you're like, oh man, yeah, her facial expressions. But like you said, she was probably intentionally doing that because that's again for Pearl in particular that was what she was known for. That she did this like long 8-minute monologue and is all like kind of sold by facial expressions. And then that last scene is that you just see her face crying, like nothing else is happening besides you just see her face twitching and crying. So I thought Mia Goth was a good pick. I think something I wonder if is a career choice or if she feels pigeonholed now, but she's also only in horror movies, which I find very
fascinating.
fascinating. And really she is. She did the franchises with the X Maxine situation, and now she's
Mm-hmm.
in Frankenstein. When that Marvel Blade movie is going to happen, she's going to be in this. So I wonder if she feels
I mean,
pigeonholed to horror, or if she just loves horror.
I basically only do Shakespeare now, and I absolutely love it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it might simply be that she, it might not, maybe not pigeonholed, but maybe she just really enjoys it, or there's a freedom to it. Because like, when else are you gonna be able to do something like, I don't know. I mean, there are other opportunities to do stuff like that, but I think there's got to be so much like she must just be having fun with it. Um,
No, I think
it's
she
in.
is too. Did you also? I mean, obviously you're familiar with Oscar Isaac, but
Mm-hmm.
did you ever see anything with Jacob Elordi before? Did you like?
No, I hadn't.
I recommend
I
Saltburn if you end up
oh,
wanting to watch more stuff
that's
with
the one with
him.
the bathroom scene, though, isn't
It
it?
is. It's a good movie. You can ignore the bathroom scene. It's a good weird movie in my opinion because I can't. Besides like
I
Euphoria, like that's his big other role, but those are
kissing
the
booth.
kissing booth. It could really show his range as an actor. Um,
Um, he's
he's
gonna be in the
also
new
in,
Wuthering Heights,
which now we
which
can see is going to be interesting. He's also
don't
was
get me
in
started.
Priscilla. He played Elvis in Priscilla, and
Oh,
he did decently in that.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen anything with him, but I have enjoyed watching interviews. I swear, my Instagram it knows what's up. Most of what's popping up on my algorithm right now is like interviews with him and Oscar Isaac and Guillermo Del Toro about
Who
the
else is
film.
in Wuthering Heights? I feel like there's someone
Margot
else
Robbie.
who's known. Margot Robbie. That's it.
Yeah,
I have a feeling
it's
we're gonna have to
it's
watch that one, but
the fact that they've titled it literally quote Wuthering Heights end quote. It's Wuthering Heights.
I have read the book, so I had to read it for school. So I do at least I have read the book.
It is. I can tell you now, based on the trailer, this is not what this is an adaptation of Wuthering Heights, meaning the characters are maybe named Heathcliff. um, but yeah, it's interesting. Like I have I enjoyed seeing her progression as a character, and I thought that the way that they had the etymology, not etymology, etymology, bugs, study
Oh,
of
I don't
bugs.
know. Study of
Hold on.
bugs. That's all I got for you.
I don't know the study of bugs. Etymology.
There you go.
Etymology. En- entomology, not etymology. Hold on. I'm gonna, dear internet, come with me on an ADHD.
The journey of the study of bugs. But yeah, no, there's definitely
Yes,
a lot of focus.
etymology is the study of word origins. Entomology is the study of insects. Okay, that I just discovered. You know what I just did? I just went to and found the etymology of entomology. I'm such a nerd. Uh, but that was a really well done factor. The bugs, the way that it makes it clear that she's into a little bit of the creepy things, the way that she's not scared by the creepy things,
She
and
loves them, from what I
I
saw in this movie.
I think the thing that was the most telling is the very when she's dying and she basically is saying, I always thought something was missing, and she's talking about two things. One, she's talking about love, which she
Sure.
is experiencing with the creature. I genuinely think she was actually referring to the act of dying and death. And
Because
I
she was
think it's
obsessed with that too, with Victor.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, entomology is literally pinning dead bugs
Mm.
and looking at, like, it's not just looking at the creepy crawlies that is alive. Like, you see her pinning bugs throughout the film. So that was one of my favorite sections of the film. That's where I went, ooh. Like, not only is it gorgeously done with the way she's like draped on the rock, I was like, ah, beautiful. But that moment where she basically is like, this is the right now, this moment where I am dying, I feel like this is the thing I've been missing my whole life. It's a fascinating, that's classic gothic horror. It's
Yeah.
so interesting to me.
Do you feel
And
like the architecture was Gothic horror too? Because I feel like that's such
oh
a big
yeah.
part of Gothic horror too. Which I thought it was too. I just feel like when I think Gothic horror, I think Gothic structures. So I think that's
Yeah,
interesting.
gothic structures, gothic architecture,
Mm.
gothic costuming. The costuming and the makeup work was astounding, but the costuming itself, again, this is a signal of Guillermo del Toro. Every single thing was chosen. For instance, the wedding night. Did you notice that every single woman was wearing a veil except
Hmm,
for the bride? The
interesting.
way that the mother, when she was walking around, she was always wearing red, that big flowing red, which was the same sort of flowing nature that you saw of his red angels that are coming in. Like that all ties in together. All of that correlates with the concept of flames and fires. The way that he has the red gloves on his hand, which is a literal representation of blood on your hands. The red
Does
necklace
he
that she wears.
does he always have the same costume director? Or do we know this? I don't know.
I
That'd be
don't
interesting
know.
if he
Let's find
does.
out. I would be curious to see if it was the same one as Crimson Peak because I loved Crimson Peaks as well. Oh, and the scene where it's right before where they're at the gallows and then they walk to the church. Mia Goth is the only character wearing any sort of color in that scene. Everything else is black, white, gray. She is in this like really pretty bluish color, and the feathers that she had in that like, which the feathers kind of looked like antennae, and she was into bugs. So like all of this stuff jumps out to me as I'm watching it, and it truly does feel to me like you said, novel or
Mm,
theater, because it's so intentional. Let me rephrase that: a good novel or good theater, because where that falls apart, and I have experienced and seen this, is when you are in or watching a theatrical production where you sit there and you go, why are they wearing that? Why did she come out from there? Why are they speaking with that sort of an accent? When you, as the audience member, are taken out because you're like, what? That costume doesn't
right.
fit. It not only ruins it for you, but you notice a lack of care and a lack of intention. And it's just kind of like you're reading it and you go, okay, well, it wasn't that great. Like I guess it was fine. So for me, it's very important and wonderful to see someone who's so clearly into his craft that he knows every single choice he's ever going to make. And I love it. It's just so beautifully done. Did you discover if he's the same costume director
No, I'm
or
gonna check
person?
now.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
Costumer
Costume.
of
I was
uh
honestly looking to see what other movies he did because I was like, obviously I know like a chunk of them, but I'm like, hey, Pacific Rim, I've never seen
yeah,
that.
oh my god, I love Pacific Rim. You know what Pacific Rim is? You know the author Brandon Sanderson, right?
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson is
He's like Wheel of
great author,
Time.
fantasy, Wheel of Time,
Yeah.
Mistborn, Way of Kings, Oathbringer, all that. But he has this one book series, which I know I've told you guys about, Steelheart, Calamity. Stop, Rowan. Steelheart, which is like a completely different take. It's like modern day futuristic superheroes versus his usual made up lands, magic, and fantasy. And so Pacific Rim is like that for Guillermo del Toro. It's really not his thing, but it's so well done and it's so intentional.
With
But
visually.
it does lack a little bit of the intention that this does.
I did look up that the costume designer for this and Pacific Rim and Crimson Peak are the same person, which I
Oh yeah.
figured because I feel like if he's so intentional with his costuming, he'd probably
And
pick the same
actually,
person each time.
um, I think because I know who composed this score,
Mm.
but who composed? Oh no, Crimson Peaks was different. So Crimson Peak was Fernando Velasquez, and I believe that Frankenstein is Alexander Desplat, who I love.
What has
Alexander
he done
Desplat does
before?
beautiful music. Well, I was first introduced to his stuff, and actually the last few Harry Potter films
Mm.
were Alexander Desplat, but he's also done. I love his score for the Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. Hold on, let me see what else he's done. Da, 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 da. Alexander Desplat music. He's done The Secret Life of Pets.
I mean, very similar movies.
uh,
Must be a passion project for him.
Let's see what else. Oh, there we go. Like, why is it not popping up? Yeah. Imitation Game. Oh, King's Speech, The Little
Okay.
Women, Grand Budapest
Like
Hotel,
every Oscar
Girl with the Pearl
film.
Earring. Yeah, actually, a lot of Oscar winners on here, like Syriana. Um,
Sigourney, yeah. I had to see that
uh,
movie too. My friend
the new
really wanted
Jurassic
to see it.
World.
Oh, I mean, they
Co-
all like
The
different
Secret Life
stuff.
of Pets 2. The Fantastic
Not
Mr.
one.
Fox. Fantastic Mr. Fox is that score is absolutely stunning.
Well, that makes
I love
sense.
that.
That's Wes Anderson, so like
Yeah.
that fits in the
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
he's kind of got this little
Yeah.
little quirky, quiet way that he tells his scores. They're very sweeping. They're also very intentional. It's beautiful work. Um, Give me 2 seconds. My
Yeah,
dog
yeah. Take the
is.
two.
Oh, there you go. Are you good? Okay. He says he just want. Oh no, he says he's excited again. Can you go sit on the couch? Go. What? You can do it. Use your drama. Here's your drama. He's an old man. We're about to get a storm here in Southern California. By a Southern California version of storms, which is actually it's going to be
Just
quite
rain.
intense. We're going to get like half an inch, a little more than half an inch of rain in like 4 hours,
Oh no, that's a
which
lot for California.
that sure is. I have a friend who just moved here from the UK, and he's like, "What are you talking about? I moved to San Diego." I go, "We do get rain. We get winter rain. We just get it all at once in like a single weekend." I'm thrilled because I'm not working at the park this weekend, so
That's
I
good
don't
at
have to
least.
worry about it. I'm gonna be indoors. But yeah, so like the costuming, the music, the architecture. I actually did look up. I was like, was this the same house they filmed Crimson Peak in? It was not specifically, but I have a feeling he probably used similar sets or at least similar set design because the set design itself was similar, the entranceway and everything like that. But he definitely plays into the gothic horror aspect of like these decrepit failing houses and how plants and earth have taken over things. The most realistic part of the film was actually the cabin bit, which
Yeah,
I
more
will say
nature.
the most unrealistic part of the film was the fact that wolves would not just randomly attack people. Hello, biologist here. Zoologist here. I would like to clarify that predators like this, unless they're straight up rabid or in a famine, which they're not because we saw a whole herd of deer, would not just be like, I'm gonna just go attack all these sheep and humans. It's not gonna happen. You don't need to fear wolves, you crazy people. But I understand for the sake of the film. That cabin bit, what's interesting is that section with the cabin and the family that he's watching is actually the bit that I remember the most when I read the book in college.
I heard that
That's the thing
that was the
that's
most known in the book. That was like the most taken
yes,
from the book.
the best adapted. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the smallest amount of change
Mm,
because it's necessary. You have to see the creature learn somehow,
sure.
and he needs to experience kindness and know gentleness and tenderness and learn how to care and learn how to care for another creature. That's very important because in the book he doesn't have any of the interaction with Victor that
Mm.
we have in the film.
Well, I
After
hear Victor's a little bit of a chiller dude. He's not as bad as
yeah,
this
after
one.
Victor creates him, he's like, shit, this is not what I wanted. And he bolts, he leaves, and he's like, I'm gonna just go back to my real life. Like, sorry, bro. Nah, I did what I wanted. Cool. Checkbox. Next.
Right.
But in the film, it is interesting to see him like try to teach him, try to take care of him, try to be like, yeah, we can make this work and be like, oh shit, what did I create? Because
And
it
he's
makes
more
the ultimate story
obsessed
at the end.
too. He's definitely
Oh,
more obsessed with it.
right away, which I really enjoyed. But you have to then have the creature find a way to understand real life and love and, what it's like to see your needs being met. And the old man was so, like, that whole sequence was brilliantly done. I really liked that, which from a character's perspective seems to me that you would like that.
And again, I think I respected a lot of the themes of this movie. I agree. Like that was stuff that I could understand why people like this movie because of that. Did I feel necessarily connected? I don't know. I think because it's like the out 2 hour mark once you get to that moment. But yeah, no, I that's where I think I give more respect to the movie is when you have moments like that, because again, you could tell these characters are coming from somewhere, and again, this movie is all about theme and all about symbolism. So, and I think it utilizes that intentionally.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things where it's just, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea, and that there's nothing wrong with that, but you can appreciate it, you can enjoy it. Um
You can
and
understand what's
it's
a bad movie and a good movie, even if it's not your cup of tea.
exactly. That's the easiest way to put it. You can be like, "Oh, I understand The Lord of the Rings is a great book, but I
Sure.
can never get through it. I understand that people love Harry Potter, but I could never get through it." That's the very nature of different tastes and different opinions, but what sets aside good art is that anyone can look at it and say, "Ooh, I love that you caught that symbolism." Or,
Sure.
"Oh, yeah, no, that's really interesting that they actually chose to do that." Or,
Or I
"Oh,
read it
wow, the
this way, you
butterfly."
know?
Yeah, or you sit there and you go, "Wow, even the butterfly, why didn't they choose a dragonfly?" And you go, "Okay, well, butterfly, metamorphosis, chrysalis, cocoon, like the way that you grow and eventually you die and you have a short life, but butterflies have a notoriously short life. However, when butterflies, specifically the one they had on screen, monarchs, migrate, it is multiple generations that complete the migration. The monarch that leaves the South to migrate through North America is not the one that finishes the migration. It is its great great granddaughter or granddaughter, 4 generations down the line, that's the one that completes the migration. And the fact that they chose the monarch as the butterfly that you see in the film, the idea that he dies and comes back and dies and comes back and dies and comes back and has that, like, literally lifelong migration of his own, all of that's fascinating. The fact that I could sit here and just spout this stuff, for me, is so fun. That's the kind of filmmaking I like.
Is this your favorite Del Toro movie?
I think I still like Crimson Peak
Hmm.
better.
It's
I
more of
have
a
not seen a
romance
lot.
movie
I
too.
have not seen a lot. Yeah. Um, and
You've seen Pacific Rim. You
this
said
was a
that
little
you thought
long.
this
I
better.
actually genuinely
Mm.
love Pacific Rim. Love Pacific Rim. One of my favorites.
And
Great monster movie.
you do agree, though, this is long, because I would say, yeah, I
Yes, it
think
was long.
anyone, yeah, I
It
think
was long.
anyone, because of that first chunk, I was even, talking to my friend who read the books and loves the franchise, and then like different friends that just had different experiences with the movie. And I think everyone agreed, like the first 40 minutes in particular could have been shorter. I think everything else was pretty necessary, but just that.
Yeah, I
It just,
agree.
and it's hard when it's the beginning of the movie, because it's like that sets you up. So you're like, all right, I kind of want to get to the point. So it's just a little harder with that.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I wish Morgan was here. I would love to hear her thoughts. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Legendary Ladies. Actually, on Instagram, Twitter is legends_podcast. Ha ha ha. But you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Legendary Ladies. Kat, what you got going on right now?
Right now, if you're in the Wicked hype, we have Witches of Oz, where we get to see Glinda and the Wicked Witch in Kansas. So what are they going to do there? And if you want to see Glinda and the Wicked Witch finally together, go check that out.
Haha.
Other than that, that's right now this second only Kickstarter. So go check that out at Comic Uno. Find all my stuff.
Yay! And I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay legendary.